Live, and it says we're live. This is kind of cool with StreamYard. Welcome, everyone. We are so grateful to be here because it is 11:30, and of course, what time is it? It is time to excel. And I'm so honored and blessed to have my friend Diana Needham with me as my special guest today, as we're going to be talking about something very near and dear to me here, especially right now. But she is an amazing person when it comes to getting books written and programs written, or the books getting those books out into the hands of folks so that the big message can be out there and so that we can support one another. And Diana, I'm just going to give a chance here. Introduce yourself for a moment to my guest, and let's just have some fun with this. For those of you that have joined me, please, I think I can work StreamYard now. I'm still working on it, but that's okay because we just learn as we go. But I do believe we can actually have some conversations and I can see them instead of a minute later. So please comment as you're coming in. I do see someone is watching us, so go ahead and do that and just let me practice a little bit as we continue. So Diana, why don't you share a little bit about the gifts that you bring in as far as helping folks to become authors?
Yeah, well, thanks so much for having me today, and Janet. And this is such a special day for us because your book is actually launching tomorrow, on Amazon, and we have been on a bit of a journey,
Yes, we have.
to get here. But I'm Diana Needham. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Diana Needham from Business Book Partners, where we help you grow your business with a book. So what does that mean? Well, in my world, it all starts with strategy. We have to know why we're writing this book. Who is it for specifically in detail, not general? Who is it for? What is the problem that the book solves for your reader? Because we buy nonfiction to solve a problem. And what do you want? Yeah. And another key question is, what do you want to be known for? So Janet, your book's going to be out, in the world for a long time.
It is.
And, what do you want to be known for? Because your name is attached to it. And once it's out there, you can't retract it. People have it in their hands. So what do you want to be known for? And then the really big question that I work a lot with clients on is, what's the result that you want? Okay. So, when you imagine that this book is in your hand, which you have copies, right? So can you show it to us?
I do. Right here is, as I said, I'm going to grab it. There it is.
Okay. So, when you have the book in your hand, this is a key question that I ask everyone I talk to.
I can feel it.
What is the result that you want? And so that's a question that even if people are clear who the book is for and they've got a big message that they want to share and they understand what the problem is, some people haven't really thought about what is it that I really want at the end of the day. So do I want to, for example, be a sought after podcast guest? Do I want to be speaking on bigger stages? Do I want to have this book serve as a companion for my coaching or consulting program that I have? What is it that I want? Outside of, and all of us, our first thing is, I want to help more people. But beyond that, what is the result that and the answer is different for everybody. So when people can articulate, or I can help them get clear about the outcome, then the way my brain works is that I reverse engineer to say, okay, well, if that's the result that Janet wants, then these are the things that we need to do while we're writing the book, while we're publishing the book, while we're preparing for the launch. These are all the things that we need to do. And that is a lot of marketing, right? Because at the end of the day, if you get through this process and you have a book, but you have no marketing behind it, you have no launch team, you haven't built a community, you don't have readers ready to buy it, then you're going to be disappointed.
And you're not where you want to be.
Right. So I always start there. And in fact, I was having a conversation with a very well-known sports coach from Michigan last night. And he has been talking to he's trying to decide publisher, self-publish, hybrid, like, what do I do? And at the end of the conversation, he said, "You're the only one that's asked me about strategy and the long game."
And this is a long game. This is a journey. This is just the beginning of the journey. And that was one of the things that I was so grateful for, because you challenged me to really think, what is this book going to end up? Where are we going with this?
Yeah.
Don't just think about today. Don't think about just getting it written. Where are we going in the long end? Where's the ultimate goal? And that was just kind of, just thinking that through. And it's been wonderful to have the support around that, because this has definitely been a journey. But as you mentioned, it almost takes a village.
It
It
does,
takes
yeah.
a village to get this done. But isn't that so much like in business too? As
Oh,
small business owners,
yeah,
it takes a
absolutely.
village of us.
And you have done such an amazing job of building your community. I mean, I remember when you moved here,
I didn't know
and,
anybody.
and you didn't know anyone, right? I mean, you were new to the area, and you have shown up to networking events. You have been present all along, like, you have been building relationships. So,
Yeah,
if I could share, like, the top big mistake that people make
please.
is not building your community early enough. I mean, it's too late the month before you're launching your book to go, "Oh, who can I ask to help me promote? Oh, I haven't emailed my list for like 6 months, so I guess I should let them know that this book is coming."
Might
I
not be a
mean,
bad idea.
it's 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 building those relationships
Yes.
and nurturing them over time, so that when it comes time for you to ask them for something, they will clearly and say, "Janet, just tell me what you want me to do."
And that has been the blessing. It really has. It has been those years of building those relationships and supporting others that in turn will support me. And that has just been the absolute best part of this journey, is the relationships that are flourishing and growing. Our relationship has got, we met years ago, and it's been amazing how we've been able to partner in different things to be able to move forward and to showcase the strengths as we're moving forward. And that has just been an amazing, true blessing. And I'm just so grateful to be on this journey. And, you challenged me to say, why did I want to write this? How, what in the world? And, it's all about money doesn't spend itself. So when we're looking at that, it's like, it doesn't spend itself. And I was very blessed. When we moved to Pennsylvania, North Carolina, I have to admit, it got a little crazy. The accounting functions of my world, which I'm a numbers person, so they were pretty high, went to the bottom of the list because everything else got in the way. And it's so easy for that to happen. But I had an advantage. At least I had the foundation in place before all heck broke loose. So I
Yeah.
was able to get pivoted and back on track. And what I realized is not everybody had that foundation in place to withstand the storms when they came. And that was one of the main reasons that I really wanted to sit down and take a step back and encourage others to say, okay, wait a minute. It doesn't have to be a completely complicated mess. It really doesn't. It can be simple. It can be simple. Here's the foundation that I used over 20 years that was able to support us when chaos happened. My husband was out of work for 10 and a half months. It was that foundation that I had laid for 20 years that supported us during that time. And it didn't have to be complicated. I just had to get back to basics. And that's what I showcased in the book. So that's a lot of the reason in putting it together, is to get out there and kind of show the roadmap. Show, how can we put those pillars into place? Because ultimately, when it comes to your money, whether it's business, whether it's personal, the pillars are the same. The foundation is the
Yeah.
same. And the bottom line is money doesn't spend itself. So, and that's where I guess the big message, as you encourage me, what is that big message? And I guess that's a lot of it, is how, and we need to give the tools to folks so that they can grow and move forward. And that's what this is.
Yeah. Yeah. And one of the things I love about your book is it's very practical. And, and you share your story, and you share things that when things were not rosy,
Yeah.
life, things happen. But as you said, you had the right foundation. You knew what to put in place. You knew what to do. You had resources that a lot of people don't have.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I love about it is you were listening, right? As you were out networking and meeting new people, you were listening to the conversations that were being held privately and people concerned
Yeah.
about, I have this month, I've got more expenses than I expected. I'm not sure how I'm going to cover those. And, you were very perceptive and listening to what they were saying and figuring out that there's a solution for them. And that's what this book is all about. So I'm really
Of course
excited
it
for
is.
the launch tomorrow. I know it's going to make a big difference for a lot of people.
And I hope that it does. And that's just been the whole journey is to be able to share and to lift others up that are around us. Because when we all work together and we all lift, we all rise. And that's a lot of this is to get that foundation underneath us and get it moving in the right direction. And I'm really excited. I'm just grateful to be on this journey. Money's a touchy subject, especially lately. My goodness, life
Mm,
has been so easy. Let's face facts. These little buggers here made, the fact of using money almost what's live money. How hard is it to teach children to be able to manage and budget money if it's always on the phone? I can just hit numbers and they miraculously show up because it's been so easy. And I think that's been a challenge. Like, how do
mhm.
you teach, kids as they're going to bring? I mean, I got dollar bills. When the dollars were gone, I couldn't spend anymore. It was pretty easy. You got an envelope system, like when that envelope's empty, you can't spend anymore because there's nothing in there to do that. But now that we're in the world of technology, I think that's been one of the biggest ones. And it's hard to get back to basics because what are basics? Because basics to most kids are these guys. This is the
Yeah.
appendage, as I love to say, this is the son's appendage. If I take it, I've cut it off. And some days that's necessary. But
Yeah.
that's a challenge, I think, right now as we're dealing with some things. And it's a lot harder to build that foundation, but you still do. And especially whether it's your personal or business, you absolutely have to have that foundation in place. And you got to be able to add and subtract.
Well, the other thing that we all need when we find ourselves in a financial situation that's, I'll just say, not healthy, right? There's a
Mhm.
crisis, there's an unexpected expense, your car breaks down, an appliance goes, I mean, things happen.
They do.
It is, money is not only a sensitive subject, you need to find somebody that you can trust and that, that when you bring them into your world, it's a safe place for you to share the reality. Here's where I am. Here's
Yeah,
what I have. I need help. And to be, I guess I'll say, courageous enough to
sure.
let somebody really see what's going on and to trust that person that they have your best interests at heart and they're going to help you and it's all going to be totally confidential. So that's something I very much appreciate because you and I work on with my
We
financial
do.
stuff as well. And that building that trust. And it kind of goes back to what we were just saying about relationships.
Absolutely.
Showing up, people get used to seeing your face. They know you're
Hmm.
reliable, you're always there, you're offering to help. So when it comes time to think about bringing somebody in to help you with this, you are the logical choice.
And reaching out, and I just said, I think you hit the nail on the head. It is building those relationships and knowing that, what, they do have your back. They do have, and their skills are such a compliment. And just like you and I've partnered, I mean, the skills are definitely complementary. And that has been huge because I would not, I mean, we're doing this wonderful Kindle launch and I would have been lost. And I'm fairly techie. And we've had quite a few little gremlins that have decided to join us on this whole little
Oh yeah.
journey as well. And as I said, and I just, I just embrace my little gremlins. And, Bear's head pops up pretty regular because as a puppy, he insists that he has to be part of the videos now. And it has definitely, but you know what? Those are the gremlins of life. And gremlins show up. And that's okay. We almost had a gremlin today with
Mhm.
Windows update that decided it needed to happen right before we were. But those gremlins come up. And as long as you have a plan in place, or you know what, you're willing to work through it, it's amazing how, the details can be worked out, And a lot of times I start my morning up, I'm like, okay, Lord, here's my plan. Now let me know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
that's part of it, So how can we get there? But it is all about building that relationship because I would not want to be on this journey on my own, and I couldn't be. I couldn't be for it to be successful because this isn't a journey of one by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a proven process to go from idea,
Mm-hmm.
anybody watching, if you have an idea of a book, even if it's vague, it may be really vague because it's an idea, it's a seedling, like it's
Mm-hmm.
this idea that you have. There's a definite process to go from here's my idea, working through those strategy questions that we just talked about, and being able
Mm-hmm.
to make sure that you're writing the right book to get the result that you want. This is another reason why I'm such a stickler for
Yeah.
I have to know what is our end goal. What is it we want to have happen? Because honestly, the money's not coming from book sales.
No,
The
this is a
money is
tool.
not coming from royalties. That's nice, but it's not going to pay your mortgage. The money is coming from using this book as a marketing strategy to attract your ideal client. That's where the money's
Absolutely.
coming from. Let's just be honest. That's where the
Mm-hmm.
money's coming on the other side of the book.
Sure.
So the whole process of how do I go from idea to writing the right book to publishing the right book with a professional cover, with an interior
Exactly.
that's professionally designed that matches the cover. There's a lot of decisions and design elements that go into that. How do I organize my launch team? How do I get this book up on Amazon?
Yeah.
That whole thing. And so, in my world, people come in with a vague idea, and 8 months later, they have a
Oh,
book published, launched, Amazon bestseller designation, copies in their hand. Why? Because I have a proven process. I know if you get
absolutely.
on here and you follow the plan and you do your part, and the draft of the book gets done in the early part, then I know that this book is going to be delivered 8 months from now because I've done so many of them
Yeah.
and run so many Amazon bestseller campaigns. I've got a proven framework that works. Well, that's another thing that this gentleman I was talking to last night that said
Mm-hmm.
I'm the only one out of all the people. He's so confused because he's talked to so many people about this book, and
Yeah.
he
Oh, there he is.
and he's gotten all this different information, and he's really confused. But I'm the only one that's asked him about strategy and the long game, because as I'm listening to him, it's very clear to me that there are people that are going to raise their hand and ask him to help them.
Yeah.
Once this book is out, they're going to ask him to help them. So we need to think about what is it? Do you want to offer a coaching program, a mastermind, consulting? What is it that you want to offer tied to this book so you can
Sure.
monetize it?
And that makes sense. And then one of the greatest things about working with you is that plan. I mean, you pretty much give a checklist. So for
Oh
us
yeah.
that just don't have, I mean, and that has been one of the, and I'm known for my checklist, but you have me beat.
Oh, I'm not sure.
But
I'm not sure about that, but
that
that's
made it
just
so much easier. I mean, for me to know, you laid it out for me. So I could just go and say, okay, I've got to get this done. But you had it on a shared drive that we both could work on.
yep.
But I knew exactly what, and if I wanted to peek ahead, I could. And then usually I'm like, yeah, we're not going to go there. We're going to come back here.
Right.
But you told me what had to be done first, second, third, and what I needed to be working on. So when life hit and I wasn't sure, because I couldn't do it all, where did my focus need to be?
Mm-hmm.
And that was a huge thing for me, having that support behind there, because sometimes I'm juggling all these balls and I didn't know which direction I was going in.
Well, yeah. So, while you're writing a book and you're getting ready to launch and all that, like life is going on.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
that didn't go away.
you have family, you have clients, you have a business to run. And so having a clear path and knowing, okay, this week, these are the things we need to get done. Next week, these are the
Right.
things and in some cases, it's like, as we get closer to the launch, it's actually broken down by day. We
Yep.
have to do this here. We have to do this here. We have to do this here.
That's
So
huge.
that, so why is that important? Well, because launch day is the culmination of doing all
Of
of
all of
those
them.
things before. If
Yeah. And if
any
they're
of
not,
those things were skipped, missed, went sideways,
and
um,
they will, but at least, but working with your plan and knowing that this is what we had to do, we could pivot, we could adjust, and
right.
we could still meet the deadline.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's huge. I mean, because as you said, life gets in the way. It's still going on
Yeah.
in amongst all of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm so excited for you. I'm so excited for what's about to happen because
Oh, me too.
here's what I know, and I think you will agree is that the person that changes the most in this process is the author.
Absolutely.
And people watching
Absolutely.
this may not understand or get that fully, but that's what I know from working now with almost 80 authors that have
Wow.
received their Amazon bestseller designation, and a lot of, I mean, hundreds of like other authors that are writing, not necessarily
Hmm.
launching, is that the person that changes the most is the author.
Absolutely.
So would you say, like, so Janet, how did I'm going to ask you a question. How do you
Go
think
for it.
that worked for you? I mean, how have you changed from going through this process of getting this book written and out?
I think what has been is being able to verbalize and communicate the process that I've been using. Because one thing this book did for me was make me take a step back and build the foundation, but this time build it so that those reading it could understand it, which
Yeah,
meant my programs are going to be stronger. My group programs and workshops are going to be stronger because I took the time. We beat them up until like, and gave me the support to say, okay, now wait a minute, you're talking accounting language, knock it off. Because I've been immersed in it for over 20 years. So I've got an accounting and payroll background. So that's second language to me. After
mhm,
spending 20 years in corporate, that was my life.
yeah,
And I'm decent about taking that back, but still I can catch myself going back to the old ways because it makes sense to me. Why doesn't it make sense to you? And
yeah,
by doing this book, it really had me take that full step back and say,
yeah,
okay, put it on paper, document it, which I had in my version of a checklist, but now I took it and gave it to a roadmap for anyone that wants to take it to start to build that foundation. So whether it's personal, whether it's business, I had to write this so that whoever was reading it could implement it, to think about the questions and do that. So I think that's been one of the greatest things is the confidence and the clarity that it provided me, which is now
yeah,
going to carry into the workshops and the seminars and the speaking engagements that I'm looking so forward. I've had a blast now getting out and just talking with people. I love doing that. I enjoy doing it. I have fun doing it. And now I get to do it with even bigger purpose in
yeah,
mind.
yeah,
And we get to address a subject that sometimes is a little bit tough, a little bit challenging. But,
yeah,
and
yeah. And
money
I
doesn't
love,
come to us.
I love that. I love what you said. I mean, it's absolutely true. Like this, the journey of writing a book,
Yeah.
of documenting your process, the process that you take your coaching or consulting clients through, or the
Hmm.
concepts that they need to understand in order to get the result that you promise. That is a journey, and it's actually it's personal development. Like we come out
Absolutely.
on the other end, you are not the same person I'm looking at right now as you were when we started, when you and I
No.
started working together. So, but see, people don't really understand that they're embarking on this journey, and at the end, they will be a very different person because of the clarity,
Absolutely. Clarity is
because
key.
of being questioned, saying, okay, now wait a minute, Janet. Didn't you say to me your ideal reader is somebody who really kind of is scared of spreadsheets?
Yeah.
I think it's too early to be talking about the balance sheet quite yet.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So always
And
bearing in mind, write the right book for the right audience to get the result that you want, because we're on the other side of the transformation, right? Like you've
right.
lived and breathed in the money space, in the finance space, and have such a wide and amazing career history that and there's for all of us, like it's easy for us to talk, we're here, but our audience is over there, they're back here.
Yes.
If you want to bring them into your world, you have to speak their language in a
Mhm.
way that they can understand it. So you've done a great job of that, and I
Thank
can't
you.
wait for what's about to happen
I'm
tomorrow.
excited. So make sure everyone check it out. You can find the links that will be all over, as we continue, but you're always welcome to go to janetnickus.com. The, first page that's going to come up right now is you're going to see my little pig. We're going to have a name for our little pig tomorrow. We've been playing around with, so if anybody has some last minute name suggestions, go ahead and drop it out on social media there. It's on the Facebook page. And I would love to just have you guys join me. And thank you, Diana, for joining me today specifically. and having that option to be able to kind of share those that want to go ahead and get that big message out there, get that and use a book to do it. You've been a tremendous guide and a tremendous support, and I'm just so, so grateful. So anybody that's interested, make sure you're looking for it because it is going to be a special price tomorrow out on Kindle. So money doesn't spend itself. So where did it go? Check it out. Find the little blue pig with, of course, the $100 bills coming out of them. And we will be launching that out tomorrow. So looking forward to seeing everyone there. And, celebration continues because at the end of this, we are celebrating because
Yeah,
it has been a journey and we've got to celebrate that as well because it's truly been a team effort. So thank you
yeah,
so very
yeah.
much.
Well, one final thing, if you're watching this and you want to kind of know the behind the scenes story, I will be interviewing Janet inside of my entrepreneur author group tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern time. So we're going to take a behind the scenes look at her launch. So if you're wondering, boy, what happens behind the curtain on launch day, we're going to go live and it is totally unscripted. And I'm going to ask Janet's going to share a little bit about her author journey. How did we get here? And where are we in the launch as of 5 p.m. tomorrow? And I've been doing this long enough to know anything can happen.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I hope you guys can join us. Come and, come share with us. Let's, and this has been a great month of October. You've had 3 authors launching, and even next week, we're all going to come together and kind of celebrate the journey together and be able to just talk and share. And that's part of it is come on the journey with us. So I encourage you to drop over to Diana's group. I think we can drop that in the comments, Diana, if you'd be okay, if you'd graciously do that, because I forgot to be proactive and grab it.
That's okay. It's for those of you that are watching, it's Build Your Business with a Book, alliteration on the B's. Build Your Business with a Book. You can find us here on Facebook. Just come on over. We'll welcome you with open arms. You can join us for the interview with Janet. There are 2 other interviews. Like it has been October, a big launch month. So
you haven't
Janet
been able to sleep.
Janet is the 3rd author to launch in October, and I've interviewed every author. So the interviews are sitting there. There's Facebook Live training. It's an amazing community. If you're thinking about writing a book or you've got one in motion right now, come on over and join us. It's a warm and welcoming community. And Janet, I'm so excited to host you interview tomorrow.
I'm looking forward to it, and I just encourage everyone, it is your time to excel, so definitely come and excel with us as we continue on this journey and we see just how well we can inspire and ignite the possibilities that are in front of us. So thank you guys so much for joining us. Thank you so much, Diana, for joining me, and I am so looking forward to joining you tomorrow as we just pretty much share the truth, just kind of toss it out there and just be honest and take a real look at this journey. So thank you again. Thank you for those that joined us, and we look forward to seeing you, of course, next week as we at 11:30 with our weekly It's Time to Excel. Have a great day, everybody.
Bye for now.